What's going on, man? Another day in the neighborhood, sports
Yeah,
world.
buddy. Another day in the life, man. Another day in the life. What's good with you?
Yeah, good man. Just we're about to get into it. It was a crazy weekend of college basketball, men and women, and a lot of other stuff to discuss, man. But yeah, episode 50, man. What you got?
So, I'll let you go first.
Oh, let me go first. All right.
Mm-hmm.
How about David Robinson, the Admiral?
I knew you was gonna go there. That's why I let you go first. I ain't want to steal your thunder. Sorry though, man. You can't forget Mike Singletary either though.
Mike Singletary, Zach
Mhm.
Randolph.
Zach Randolph. Yep, yep, yep.
We threw that. And Greg Anthony.
There's a few of them out there. There's a
That's
few
low
of them out
key though.
there.
That
Yeah,
Tara
yeah, yeah,
Tara threw that in as a Knicks man. We don't really care about that. So.
yeah. We try to show the lick some love when we can.
Right, right, right,
Don't happen often.
right, right. Yeah, well, as always, man, we want to thank our sponsor, Appliance Medic. That time of year, I think today was what got the 73. So
Hmm.
getting about that time, you need to make sure that air conditioning is right.
Good to
Um,
go.
and then Phase Consulting Partners. I actually was with my boy George this weekend, so shout out to George for
Shout,
sponsorship for both his companies, man. I definitely appreciate it.
shout out to George.
Absolutely. Man, March Madness, man. Where do we start?
Hey, 3 out of 4 quality games this year, this weekend on the men's side. That
Okay.
UConn game, that UConn Gonzaga game was never wasn't as entertaining as you thought it would be, right?
Uh,
But hey, shout out to Miami for that comeback.
mm,
Ooh, they,
listen,
they they was down like 14 in the second half. They're like, you know what? Okay, we done playing now.
it was crazy about them is they were good during the regular season of ACC, but
Hmm.
when it gets this time of year, man, when it's like March Madness is all about guards and experience. If you got experienced guards, guys that can shoot the ball, control, defend the ball, and all that, you got a shot. And Miami is a prime example of that.
Yes, sir.
FAU too.
Mm-hmm. Talk about guard play, man, and how important it is, right? You if you watch that K State game against FAU, um, you recognize how important the point guard was to that team. They were up 7 in the second half, right?
Hmm.
And it was 3 possessions, like 3 consecutive possessions that KSU got, where the point guard number one didn't even touch the ball,
Mm.
right? So they got those 3 possessions they didn't score, and then on the other end, um, Florida Atlantic, they scored, right?
Yeah.
So they was able to get back into the lead off of just 3 possessions,
Hmm.
right? And I think at that point the momentum of the game changed tremendously
Yeah.
because K State never got back in the lead after that.
Yeah. And I felt like all through the tournament, coach, I think it's Tang, he did a great job like putting guys in the right position, calling the right plays. And just for that particular play,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't draw it up correctly because the guy they threw it to was the right guy. Don't get me wrong, but they put him in a position where he had to dribble the ball, and that's not his strength. He's
Mm-hmm.
a catch it, shoot it, and
Yeah,
they
he
put him
should
in
have
a
been.
position where he's like what? I mean, 8 feet away from the 3 point line, and he had a
Yeah,
man
he
on him.
they ended up having two because the point guard was heading in that direction. So when he
Hmm.
passed the ball, the defender just went with the ball.
Yeah, that was it.
So yeah, it wasn't that last play could have been a little better.
Yeah,
Um, but shout out to Florida Atlantic, man. A man stepped up, free throw line, 4 clutch free throws, like it wasn't nothing.
and I
Wow.
could be wrong. I looked it up right before we opened up the show. I
Mm-hmm.
could be wrong. I think San Diego State preseason was the only team in the Final Four that's actually ranked in the top 25. I think they were 19.
Hmm.
I don't think
Hmm.
UConn was ranked, which is surprising to me. I mean, you see how good UConn is now.
Hmm.
And again, I'll double check it to make sure I'm right about that. But I know FAU wasn't,
Right.
and I know Miami wasn't.
It's crazy, man. We talked about this over the weekend, right? The
Hmm.
the the parity of the landscape of college basketball is changing, right?
Hmm.
Because these kids can now transfer whenever they want to. They can go wherever they want to, right?
Hmm.
And if you consider yourself a ball player, you betting on yourself, right? You're not going to these big name schools,
Yep.
right? Or you may have went to a big name school, but for whatever reason, you and the coaches didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, you're not playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you take your talents and go to a lesser school,
Yep.
right? And now you get to play and showcase your abilities. And in doing so, you're seeing the fruits of that now in
Right.
this tournament with all these top seeds losing
Yeah.
to these low seeds, right? Everybody can play at this point. And
Yeah.
what you're gonna start seeing is more of these mid majors and HBCUs is going to be like at this point, seeding doesn't matter in a tournament. Like
No, it doesn't.
Anybody could be beat.
Yeah. Yeah. You touched on it. If we had a coach here as a guest, I'm going to use Izzo's example because I looked up to see some kind of quotes because I knew they were going to ask these big time coaches what they thought about the transfer portal. Definitely the ones that just got knocked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Izzo, what I heard during when they were making their run during the tournament, they were priding themselves on the fact that Izzo was looking for players that are out there in the transfer portal, but
Mm-hmm.
his players allegedly came to him and said, "Nah, coach, we good. We don't want to buy in the portal. We want to keep the same nucleus we got. Great,
Mm-hmm.
right?" And then now, fast forward, they get knocked out of the tournament. They get a quote, and his direct quote is, "I'll say it until the day I die. I do not see anything good for the players in it." But you touched on exactly what I would ask him. So, all right, coach, you painted the scenarios, right? You got guys that are willing to bet on themselves. They either went to the college that they desire to, or for whatever reason they didn't get recruited. Now
Mm-hmm.
they get to go to a lesser school or whatever smaller school, and then they play them and they get on that big stage and get to showcase their talents. You're right. Betting yourself doesn't mean it's always going to work. That's why it's called betting on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the transfer portal, I agree, it doesn't work for everybody. Some people get lost in the shuffle in the transfer portal, but what he does fail to mention, him and other coaches that are against it, what about the kids that actually come to your program and it doesn't work out?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta highlight both sides of it. You can't just paint transfer portal bad, but then also guys that sign up to come to your school, it doesn't work out. Maybe it's your coaching style or whatever else. You gotta look at both sides of that.
And what like the 4-year senior, right? We talk about experience, like that is out the window at this point. Most of these kids 2-3 years and then they go do something else, right? We were talking about all the teams that are left right now. How much NBA talent do you see on the floor right now? Right? That says something. Right?
It does. It does.
That says something, right?
Yep.
So when you look at it from that aspect, right? All these kids that's living their dream right now may end up overseas. Timmy, right?
Perfect example.
Timmy, right? The 5th-year seniors. He's all world at Gonzaga, but guess what? Your eligibility is up, and so you have to move on. What does he do next?
That's true. Yeah.
All right, like
I feel like you disrespected my man. You said 5 years. He's been there for 10 years, man.
He been there a long time. He been
He's
there
10
longer
years,
than,
man.
he been there longer than the average bear. So
Right.
he grandfather this program.
Are we so Miami, UConn facing on that side, San Diego State and FAU facing on the other side? Are we comfortable just going ahead and saying that whoever wins that Miami UConn game is going to be the champion?
I'm comfortable with that. If UConn wins, I'm rooting for UConn at this point. So
okay, all right.
I think UConn, like watching them play Gonzaga and how they was able to shoot the basketball, right? If they do that, the next 2 games, they're locked for the championship. I think I said the same thing about Alabama, right? Their inability, like the other 3 teams, their inability to score consistently is going to put them behind the 8 ball when they play UConn. If UConn can stay as efficient as they have been, right? Because they couldn't miss against Gonzaga.
I will say the game that I want to see is I would like to see UConn style against San Diego State style, because you and I both agreed. I threw it out to you. Numbers wise, and not just the eye test, but numbers wise, San Diego State is the best defensive team that's remaining in this tournament.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see that style, and as wide open as UConn is playing, as loose as they're playing, they're shooting the ball. I want to see how San Diego State's defense can impact that.
Oh, okay. It'd probably be a better matchup for them. So my fear with Miami is like for a quarter and a half, they play like trash.
Yeah.
Right. But down the stretch, you saw the Miami team that you expected to see from the opening tip. Right. I don't know if they can do that against UConn, right? You can't start slow against UConn and you're gonna be down 30 quick.
No, can't do that.
Right. And do you have the energy to make that kind of comeback again? Right. On this stage, under these lights, right? It's they have to get a better, they have to start a lot faster.
Yeah.
Saturday than they did last weekend. So.
Now, but X, we in this matchup, that UConn Miami game, we've got an old school balanced matchup. Normally in college basketball, and even let's be honest, NBA, you've got a center that can either pull a big out and all he does is mainly pop in the corner, shoot threes and all that stuff, but he's still 7 foot, whatever. In this matchup we got two big men that love to bang in the middle, and around him, both of these guys, they got guards that love to shoot it. So we are going to get a classic. We should get a classic matchup from that perspective alone, because both of their styles fit one another.
I feel like the energy of that game is going to be it's going to be a high intensity game. Man, I like the K-State Florida Atlantic game. Like, man, I'm standing up in the living room. Pushing at the TV. Like, man, what are y'all doing? Like, I expect to be doing that UConn against Miami this weekend. Like, that's how intense it was. Like, the intensity from the building was just radiating out into my living room. That's how intense that game was for me.
So, beginning of the season, give you a bet angle on this. If you had took $100 X out of your savings account and you put it on either FAU or San Diego State just to make it to the Final Four, not win the Final Four, just to get to where they are now, how much do you think you'd have won, sir?
I'm gonna say 10K.
145,000. Just for $100.
Talking about a return on your investment.
That's just for one of them, not both, just one of them.
So let me ask you a question. You know how you talk about hedging your bets, right? You could have put $100 down on 145 schools and still not made 145K.
Yeah. I mean, so technically, at the beginning of the season, to your point, let's talk through the scenario. It's what, 64 teams in the tournament, right?
Right.
You could have put down $6,400. One of them got to get to the Final Four, so you basically betted on one of those teams to make to the Final Four, and then so then you get you could have did that. You're right.
You got your money back, right?
Yeah.
Times two. 64 times 2 is what, 128?
Right. So
120. So times, yeah. You know what? Maybe next year.
yeah.
Maybe next year. Just gotta hit one, man. Just gotta hit one.
Hey, that would have been, you're right. That'd have been love right there. Somebody got to make it.
Hey, somebody got to do it. I appreciate it too.
Yeah, but I can't remember. Then, talking about the transfer portal, right? So I was looking at the numbers. ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, CBS, TBS, all those guys, their numbers is significantly higher. I haven't seen the numbers, like the total number, but since 2018, 2019, the numbers is spiked significantly. So the argument of, a lot of the analysts out there talk about transfer portals bad, it's not good for the networks. The number says different.
Oh, well, it's March Madness, so you're gonna watch March Madness, but now you may not watch March Madness is like the NBA playoffs. Like, you're gonna watch those games, right? But you're not watching the regular season San Diego State game like that.
Nah. It's funny you bring that up, right? So, because I listen to a lot of these guys call in for whatever reason, I'm hearing the narrative that, hey, it's boring this year, the transfer portal, these kids are a bunch of babies. I'm hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same argument I hear about the NBA. Hey, I'm turned off against the NBA. I'm no longer watching it. And then, hey, these guys are kneeling. I'm no longer watching the NFL. Meanwhile, the numbers are saying numbers is
Something
going through
different.
the roof with ratings, right? So somebody's watching.
Hey man, look at here. And I don't want to bring politics into it, but we heard that this the same thing that happened in 2020.
Yep.
I ain't vote for that guy, and then what happened? You go in and pour the level for the guy. Like, oh, man, just because you think what you about to say is unpopular, so you don't want to be in that unpopular crowd. So you say what everybody else is saying, but in private, in public, you're doing one thing, in private, you're doing another. Like,
Right. Now I'm with you. Oh, shout out to Rodney Terry. Got the fight, got the deal, sealed the deal, got the job at Texas now.
Right.
So I
Right.
like
Shout
his.
out.
They asked him right after the loss, how he felt about getting the coaching job. This before it was announced, and my man was emotional. Said he hadn't even thought that far.
Mm-hmm.
He said the love I got for these kids that long after basketball, I'll be making that phone call when they have their firstborn child. I'll be at their weddings. I'll be at their kids' graduation. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Mm-hmm.
guy you want to hire,
Mm-hmm.
man.
Mm-hmm. It's family. That's the true definition of family, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about what you can do for me. He's invested in you as a person, which speaks highly of his character, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely, follow him anywhere.
Yeah, we can't talk about March Madness, man, and not talk about the women's. I don't know if you invested with. You seen Caitlin Clark yet? The girl
Nope.
from Iowa.
I'm watching USC right now though.
Yeah, so as we drop
Against
off.
my Terps.
Yeah, so as we drop off, about to jump on that.
Mm-hmm.
The Final Four for that's going to be amazing too. Caitlin Clark, this girl, she will face the winner of that Maryland South Carolina game.
Mm-hmm.
But she is Steph Curry in women's college basketball.
I heard she went for 40. I did. I got the sports clips. I heard she went for 40. Yeah,
triple double. Yeah, she's one of those. The coach says, as soon as she comes out of the locker room, I want you to guard her as soon as she comes out of the door.
Yeah, you might just get in her jersey right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And
if she go to the water cooler, you better go with her. That's right. She drinking Gatorade, you taking Gatorade.
Yeah. So shout out to the women's, man. That's right. Definitely awesome.
I mean, we can't talk about NCAA and like you say the women, right? We got to talk about the inequities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the video about how they treating their women out here in these tournaments?
I missed it. What's up?
So like the men is eating gourmet meals. The women are getting sloppy a la carte, right? The men are getting state-of-the-art gym equipment in their hotels.
Yep.
The women's get to go to the fitness center.
Yep.
Right? Just like the women, I believe they just now got the rights to put March Madness on the floor of the women's game.
Yep.
That's like just happened like this year or last year.
Yeah.
The network supposedly bought the rights to women's basketball for say $36 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right. An auditor did an investigation and said the women's game alone is worth $112 million. So the NCAA is undervaluing their own product tremendously on the women's side. Right. Travel is different. It's just not equal. It's no equality there.
Right.
They have to do better.
So X, you're making an argument for me, so I'll throw it at you. Why do we need the NCAA again? Remind me.
We don't, right?
Okay.
Their whole MO is to make money off of the athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can't call them employees because when you call them employees, you got to pay them.
Yeah.
Right. But as long as you keep them labeled as athletes, you ain't got to pay them.
Right.
Right. This NIL situation is step in the right direction. However, it's still not fair, right? Because these kids are bringing in millions of dollars, billions of dollars into this institution, and they're not seeing any of it. Right?
Yeah,
it's just not fair. Oh no, men or women, it's not fair.
Well, I'll throw it. You being a parent, right? I'll throw it at you in this case. The argument I'm always hearing when people are opposed to athletes getting paid, which are mostly people that, let's be honest, they're not athletes. They actually have not been through that gamut. They have no idea what that even is like. Uh, they say, well, they're getting this education. Meanwhile, I got to go bust tables at a diner to pay for my college. What's your response to that?
Um, so I guess it like obviously sports generate scholarships, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know as a parent, um, if you are unable to get a scholarship, right, then you got to do what you got to do. Um, there's plenty of ways to go to school without inquiring on that debt, right? Getting all that debt.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough to go to school through the military without get my degree without any debt. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say the fact that these kids are on scholarship, right? That still doesn't generate. It still doesn't equal what they should be getting paid, right?
Right.
From the money they bringing in and what they get to take out is zero. It's not equal at all.
So Marcus, we had on the podcast. I don't know if you see in the chat, X.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus said they should not get paid. Said they should get NIL, but shouldn't get paid directly from the school. But that getting paid directly from the school is not what you were saying, right?
Yeah, they should.
You're saying get paid from the school,
Well, no, not the school. The NCAA should pay them, not the schools.
and it should. But most importantly, it should be free market. So whether when they have a deal that's brought to them from whatever booster, whatever uh, food chain or whatever corporation want to do commercials, they should be able to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's like the NBA players, right? They get a check from their employer, right? And then they get endorsements, right? It's the same concept for college, right? Your popularity still generates your endorsements, right?
Right.
But your base pay should still come from the NCAA, right?
Right.
The NCAA is profiting off of you, therefore you should get some kind of compensation for that.
Yeah.
And the college degree just doesn't equal out. Talking
Yeah.
115,000 4 years, right, of
Right.
education when you're bringing in 10 times that amount to this institution.
Yeah, I agree, and I've seen countless these committees, these guys that use college basketball, football as an example. These guys that they work certain months out of the year to run like a bowl game, like a
Mm-hmm.
bowl committee. And there
Mm-hmm.
was one year, I think it was like it wasn't the Rose Bowl, it was one of the major bowls. This committee got caught misappropriating the funds, where they were using it to go throw parties, go to strip clubs, even solicit prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
Those things is what they need to focus on. But like kids getting like a certain kind of bagel or a certain kind of meal from a coach, or like that's insane.
You're talking like we're talking about primarily two sports that fund your whole athletic department,
Exactly.
right? And they get nothing from it,
Right.
right? These 12 to 15 players, right? The coach is getting a 10 15 million a year, right? That's his salary, right? He gets paid, right? The assistants probably get paid, but the players who are actually doing the work, doing the manual labor, so to speak, sweating, tears, all that, right? They get nothing.
Yeah.
We gotta do better.
Yeah,
Just
and that's what I'm sharing with Marcus right now. So Marcus, he's in the chat. Appreciate you chiming in, bro. But he was saying that they relaxed the rules around some of those things I just said. But the problem is they put too much emphasis on the players and the things that's going on around the players, and not enough on the adult that's around these things. Because that's where the real problem is, right? Like you got a kid that's saying, let's say pre NIL, Marcus, I'm talking to you now, pre NIL. You got a guy coming in and say, "Hey, man, I just want you to make an appearance because, guys at my job, uh, they would love to have you around. Hey, if you just show up for your time, I'll give you $10,000." You got to share with me what's wrong with that. And Marcus, Marcus may sound like he's got some numbers around it. So Marcus, we probably have to get you on the show to talk about it, man, more in depth. Maybe something I'm missing,
Right.
but I right now I really don't get it. I think there's something they could do instead of just shutting the door and saying they shouldn't get paid. That's not the answer at all.
Yeah, like clearly that's not the answer. And again, it's all around wordplay. So
Yeah.
Getting the politicians involved, like Chuck say, might not be the best solution.
Right. Right.
Because they got other interests in mind that's leading their decision-making process, right? So it's got to be a third party who's not going to gain anything out of this to come up with some valid ideas, some valid solutions to this problem.
Yeah. Speaking of money, Lamar Jackson. You saw the tweet today?
I heard he wanted to be traded.
Yeah, it said he announced, I forgot how many days before they announced that they were going to franchise tag him. I think it was
March 2nd.
March 2nd is when he said he wanted to be traded. He even sent out a letter, kind of a farewell letter to the fans.
Right.
Has that tweet and this announcement today changed your mind on where Lamar is going to be playing next season?
No, not really. I feel like he ain't got no, like I said, he ain't got no leverage, man. Like he can't force other teams to send him anything. And he's over a barrel. Like, I mean, he cannot play, but I don't know what that means for him financially to not play.
Right.
All right. So I don't know, man. I don't see him leaving Baltimore until next year and until the year after next, right?
Yeah.
But even then, I think they could franchise him again, right? On a regular franchise or a different kind of franchise tag, right? So I don't know, man. He's in a tough situation. Like he's fighting a machine that is. It's not just the Ravens that are influencing this contract situation, right?
Oh, I agree with that, but I do feel like this. I think with that tweet, he's now aired dirty laundry.
Right.
He's kind of put them in a bad spot. So I think that now for him, he's in a position where he's going to be okay taking less money. Like that's just to be honest.
Yeah, I don't see him taking less money though.
No, I mean, not with the Ravens. I'm saying he's not going to do the Ravens any favors. But now it's about. It's like I'm gonna show you, right? If another team comes along and there's a trade, he may take less money than what he's asking for from the Ravens, right? Because now they're in a bad position. Like even if they come back and they try to write another check,
right?
Like he can't come back in that locker room.
At the end of the day, man, it's a business. And like I say, I think he is chess, not checkers, right? He lost his leverage when he didn't sit out last year. Like you had to force their hand last year, right? You got to do the right thing, and they're gonna take care of you. And then that didn't work out. And now you're in a situation where you're almost begging for a contract at this point.
Well, they got to July 17th, right? The July 17th is the deadline for the extension,
right?
Whether it be the Ravens or any other team. So, you know, this will be a bullet point for us. The level we keep getting updates, we'll keep tracking it. But just my opinion, I think my man is out.
I mean, I think he's going to be out too, because even if he's not out, right, his performance is not going to be up to par,
right?
Because his heart's not in it.
That's dangerous on a football field, though.
It's
easier in basketball.
But on the flip side of that, right, he can go out here and the man go out here and stub his toe on his grass. Guess what?
I'm out.
I'm out, coach.
I got some extended swelling in there. I don't want no shot
I felt a little twinge this morning, man, when I rolled out of the bed. So I'm on the IR this week. Send my check. Just make sure my check. Right? You're not motivated to play with injury. Right? I'm just trying to get through the year, man, so I can get the free agency.
I feel you on that. So you been keeping up with the draft? Any new news you heard?
Nope. I'm still waiting on all these free agents to shake out. Like I've seen some pickups that we've made, which I'm excited about those.
Yeah.
Outside of that, no, I haven't been following them.
I got a bet for you.
What's up?
Bryce Young would not go number one.
You don't think so?
Nope.
So what happens?
C.J. Stroud is in Carolina. And coming off behind, I haven't really seen it yet, but coming off the board behind C.J. Stroud, for me, it's either going to be Richardson from Florida
Right.
or Will Levis.
You think so?
Yep.
That's a tough call right there, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, I think his size is gonna be a big thing for him.
Yeah.
He's gonna be on one of those prove it type situations, right? And I hope that in this time he's already got like a nutritionist to help him fill out his frame.
It's gonna make him taller too.
You got to make him taller, but just make him a little more sturdy. We've seen smaller quarterbacks succeed, so I think mentally he has the ability.
Yeah.
I just hope that he can withstand them 300-pound hits that be coming.
You know what's hurting Bryce Young for me is coming from that same school,
right?
And the same argument that we're having right now, not argument, but you know what I'm saying, the same conversation we're having around this draft.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching Tua coming from that same school with the same type of stature.
Mm-hmm.
And Tua's even a little thicker than he is.
Yep. And having success.
That's a negative thing for him. Because Tua, they don't respect Tua's play. Tua is good, has been good with the current regime that he's in now.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go deep into the season, you got the elements, you got everything else. It's a problem, man. And like we're going to see this. I've seen this time and over again.
Yeah, like they're not going.
If we was in that position X as Commander fans,
mm-hmm.
I'd be fighting tooth and nail saying I don't want to draft him. That's just me.
Okay. I think for us, Sam Howell is already been handed the QB1 tag.
Right.
So I think we're gonna be out of that conversation. I think we're way out of the Lamar Jackson conversation.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm saying if we were like in that position to be drafted number one and all that, like I would say give me C.J. Stroud all day. I don't think I trust the kid Richardson. I like his athletic ability. I don't trust him. There's something about it.
We need the offensive line.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I trust Will Levis either, but I'm just saying 6'4", 229. You can work with that.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's average size for that position. So I mean that's usually what the prototype is what they say, right?
Yeah.
6'3" to 6'6", somewhere in there. Anything over 6 feet, you should be okay.
Yeah, I agree. And Marcus said he think Richardson gonna be a bust. I agree with that. I mean, we could be wrong, but I'm saying you got to go with your trust, right? And then the biggest thing is when they pull you into that film room and they get you to start drawing stuff over the board and they see how easy you can retain stuff. That's where the true measurement comes in right there.
Hey man, you know the one show I miss because you talking about film study and working on intelligence, right?
I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, Coach Gruden had that show. Remember?
I knew you were about to say, yeah.
You know what I mean, so
where is Coach Gruden these days?
I hope he's in rehab somewhere. I hope he's in somebody's mental facility trying to work out them demons he got.
Sensitivity training.
Yeah, he needs to be somewhere. Email etiquette, something. I mean, I got some issues, man. We ain't heard from that cat in a long time, man.
Well, I don't think we've seen all the emails either. When we start seeing all the emails come out, it's gonna restart it again. It's gonna hit that reset button.
I think that now him and his brother gone, they can go ahead and let that ride. Let sleeping dog lie, man. They ain't had to it was a drip, right? We put this out there, see what happens. Oh, nothing happens? Well, let's give you a little more.
Right.
Now what you gonna do? Oh, you still not convinced? Here's a little more. And now you gotta go, buddy.
Marcus said it was a hit job on Groot.
I believe it too. Somebody put it out there. Him and Allen from the Commander's front office.
Snyder had something in there somewhere. Snyder threw a grenade in there somewhere.
I mean, hey, I'm glad he out of here too. Get
Yeah.
that man out of here.
Yeah. What else you got NFL wise, man? What you thinking?
Man, I'm done with the NFL until draft day.
Yeah.
Right? We got playoffs coming. We got NBA playoffs coming. Like we got March Madness. It's all about basketball for me right now.
I will touch on something else NFL wise before the draft before we go forward. So the kid Carter from
Mhm.
Georgia, defensive tackle.
Mhm.
You know, he got in that. He was in an incident where somebody was a fatal accident and all that.
Right.
So similar to what we're going to hear with the NBA draft with Brandon Miller, we're going to hear the recurrence of that issue over and over again. And my man Carter, if this incident never happened,
Mhm.
absolutely, and he may still go top 5, but I think he may slip because of that too.
You know what they're gonna say why he slipped though?
What's
He
that?
had a very bad pro day.
Yeah, they say he was out of shape.
Yeah, he didn't finish some drills.
Yeah,
He didn't look very like he didn't look like he was ready to play at all. Right. He looked out of shape.
but
Right.
let
So
me tell you,
that right there is gonna hurt his draft stock.
I agree. But let me tell you what didn't slip. When I cut on that film ain't slipping. That film is legit.
I understand what you're saying. And that film was from a football season in which it was prior to this pro day. Like this pro day is when you're supposed to say, yes, I'm still in shape. I'm still doing X, Y, and Z. You're like, he didn't touch a football field
right
until that day, right?
Mark, I'm laughing. Marcus said these dudes better learn to use Uber.
Yeah, man. Like you gotta do something different, man. Like when you get to a certain level, like you shouldn't. It's hard to say because obviously we've never lived that life, right? You've been driving yourself around all your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So why should it change now? Because I got millions of dollars in the bank.
Right.
Well, this is why. Just hire a driver, man. You be good. You're gonna get from point A to point B just fine. Right. When you wanna play with some toys, you can go rent out a track somewhere and just do your thing. But not on the streets, man. Not out here in these public roads with civilian traffic. No, that's not. Can't have that, man. Gotta make better decisions.
So Marcus been with us the whole episode. He's been commenting. He probably gonna disappear when I bring this up. So LeBron returned last night, and my Chicago Bulls. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Went to LA.
Right.
You know, Pat Bev. They basically booted my man out of LA. Say he wasn't a good fit. And there's a picture floating around of Pat Bev throwing the little man symbol to LeBron after he hit him with the hezzy. I just want to hear. I'm just curious what Marcus got to say about that. Hey, you saw that? You saw that, right?
I did. You know, Pat Beverly, man, he he was gonna take some shots, bro. You just knew he was.
You know why I like guys like Pat Bev? Because like I say this with people I like to do business with. Like you got friends and then you got people you like to do business with.
Mm-hmm.
People like that care, I like to do business with. Like it may be petty, that's fine. But when I know that you care, and you care just as much as I do, or even more than I do, I can rock with you. I like that.
He gonna give you your all. He gonna give you his all every night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's all. What else can you ask for?
Yeah.
Shenanigans, though. Come on, bro.
Hey, listen. LeBron going to count his billions while Pat Bev eating at the Applebee's. Come on, man.
Hey, man, that's what I'm saying, though, right? You looking
don't count out the underdog. Don't do the man like that.
Hey, man, looking at just be realistic, bro. You can't come at the king when your resume ain't the same.
Hey,
right? You've been doing it for 20 years, bro.
He proven Mario Chalmers right though.
Well, ain't nobody scared of LeBron.
Ain't nobody scared.
Yeah, ain't nobody scared of LeBron.
No.
LeBron ain't no killer.
Pat Bev is proving that.
I think Pat Bev a different dude though, man.
Yeah.
Dude. So
you need guys. Like my high school coach used to always say, man. Guy rest his soul. He's the assistant coach, but he said, I need guys I want to go to dark alley with.
That's right.
That's Pat Bev.
That's right. Hey, I got your back, you got mine. That's right.
That's it.
They ain't out here in these streets no more.
with that being said, he did. They asked him at the end of the game. They asked him. They said, "Hey, uh, what was your ankle for this game?" He said, "They want me over there. I would have kicked him out the playoffs."
That's right.
They're in the ninth seed right now, right?
Ninth or 10th. I think Dallas is right below them. So I think Dallas is 9th and they're 10th.
Yeah.
So the playing game is probably gonna have Dallas and Lakers in it.
So Dallas, correct me if I'm wrong on this, when they acquired Kyrie, they was in the 6th seed.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they today? Where are they today at?
19.
Okay.
But so they were like 29 and 23 when they brought Kyrie in. Since Kyrie has been there, they're 7 and 12.
So enlighten me. What's the problem, X? What's wrong with them?
I don't know, man. I'm not in the locker room. I can't tell you. But the numbers would suggest that Kyrie wasn't a good pickup. The numbers would suggest the team chemistry is not the same.
So before Luka, before they got Kyrie, Luka was smiling. He was scoring his points.
Yeah,
he was winning. My man, I saw him at the press conference the other day. Man, he wanted to be anywhere else but in that NBA locker room. Right.
Man, here's the thing with the media, man. There's so much more they could be talking about, man, but they just harp on the same stuff over and over again. They keep asking the same question 6 different ways.
Yep.
The answer is not going to change. Why are you guys slumping right now? Hey, man, that's just life. Like we got things that we need to work on, and we're working on that stuff, and we'll get better. You don't have to ask me that 7 times. The answer is going to be the same. Clearly, we're not as good as we need to be, and we are trying to do that every day. Right? Elementary stuff. So I understand, man. Like, I get the frustration because that's why I don't like watching press conferences, because you can tell from the first question what the next thing gonna be.
Right.
Like, so, but as an athlete, man, you got these obligations, you got these commitments. You're gonna have to take that.
It's a rough spot, man. I mean, listen.
It is. But I sympathize because I understand it.
Hey, Marcus said, "Why you criticizing the media?" He said, "We are the media now."
But my interview would not go like that, man. My interview would not go like that. I'm talking basketball right now. We ain't talking about. I ain't trying to get no hot take. I mean, right. For the right reasons. Like, I don't need you to talk some, man, F Kyrie. It's Kyrie's fault. That's not what I'm getting at. Right? Yeah. Let's talk X's and O's, man. What can we do to be better? That's what we're looking for.
Well, right now, man, it don't look good for him. You know, I just don't think. Who's going to sign my man to a long-term deal? Who's doing this? Kyrie.
Somebody will. They're trying to fill seats, so somebody will. But outside of that, no, nobody.
Marcus said he wouldn't pick him up on his team at the Y. Marcus, this cat, you would definitely pick him up on your team on the Y, because you would have to guard me, and you're gonna need somebody off that ball that can get you open.
Nah, I don't see that.
Yeah, he said you'd have to be a fool to sign Kyrie. I don't see, man. Listen, we've seen every time he goes to a team, either he don't play, and when he do play, my man, this is what you get right here.
Yeah, he's not. Kyrie is not a team guy, man. He needs to be on a team when he can be himself. Like, he can just be by himself. Because he with most athletes, man, like, it's only one basketball.
Right.
And Kyrie needs the ball to be productive. So does Luka. It's only one basketball.
Yeah.
I told you, man, they should have had that dude. Like, here's where your ego, you gotta put your ego in check, right?
Yeah.
This dude come off the bench. But ego won't let him.
Hey, you think KD being too sensitive with this Charles Barkley stuff?
KD is just sensitive, period, man. Like, he's just, but we know this already.
Right.
We know the dude is sensitive. So this is, I think for Charles, right, I think he's just sprinkling salt on KD every chance he get, right?
Right.
You know, anything Chuck says is gonna set KD off. So he just continues the narrative of just getting a response, staying current in the news.
Yeah, I mean, I love Charles, but it's getting it's getting out of hand now. It's like it's getting to that point where it's getting kind of old. Where it's like they even had KD on, and KD wouldn't answer his questions and all that. It's like, and then Shaq not even saying. Shaq just sitting back laughing. Him and Kenny, they're not even saying nothing. So it's basically just, and I think then Charles did a 60 minutes about it, talking about KD.
He did.
Yeah, this Terry was just telling me about it today.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look for it. I haven't seen it, but
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but she was telling me about it. It's coming out or something like that. So
unnecessary.
yeah, it's getting on.
I mean, it's unnecessary, man. Like that's not productive. It's not productive at all. But you know, Chuck is gonna be Chuck, and KD gonna be KD. KD didn't like criticism. He don't care where it come from.
Marcus asked a question. I'm gonna throw at you. He said, "Who would you rather have on your team in their prime, Charles or KD?"
In their prime?
In their prime. Yep. KD ever win MVP?
Yeah, he got one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go KD. I just think he's more versatile.
Yeah. I would like to see Chuck in today's game though. But Chuck was dropping buckets back when.
Yeah, but Chuck was different, right? He didn't necessarily like the Phoenix Suns Barkley. That was probably the best Barkley.
That's the one I want. That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one I want.
But even that Barkley ain't gonna stop a prime Kevin Durant.
Yeah, so a prime Kevin Durant gonna stop KD? I mean, stop Charles?
Nah, but a prime Kevin Durant just gonna in the game of make it take it. Charles might not see the rock, man.
So KD's past his prime now. We're saying though, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're talking about probably.
I'm talking about OKC KD.
OKC KD. Yeah.
Young, energetic.
Right.
Shoot over you, go around you, all that.
His hair was still the same though. That it was.
Yeah, the hairline ain't changed. He ain't brushed it in 10 years, but
Barber,
that guy right there. Like
Barbers be cringing when they see his head on TV, man.
So you got all that money, man. You can't get a haircut, man. The barber come to you, bro. Barber come to you, man.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So I know you don't like Giannis, but who's gonna win the finals this year? Let's start with who's going to the finals out of the East. Give me the East.
That's tough, man. I want to see Philadelphia do so well, man, but
I just don't trust Harden, man. I don't trust Embiid either. To be honest,
but we have an MVP year this year.
He is in a regular season. I'm talking about playoffs. I don't trust those guys in the playoffs.
You're right, because they're gonna the refs gonna give the Bucks all the calls.
There you go.
Giannis out here playing bully ball. So
what's the move? Show the people the move. What's the move?
Oh, he's talking about the three. His dribble hard left, spin right. His dribble hard right, spin left. Euro step. The one of them three. That's all he got.
Right.
That's all he got.
I went that.
He's talking about he will take his three. Don't forget the 3 steps back from the top of the key, man. And,
the wind up.
Yeah, right. 3 steps back, go. Go. Hey, yo, man. So, we talking about this at work. My man Cam showed me a video of Giannis some years back. Might have been like 2018. He got a steal at the top of the key. He got the ball at half court. He dribbled it one time. Took 3 steps from half court. Dunked the basketball.
Right.
He literally dribbled the ball at half court that one time and got the possession of it.
Right.
Took his 3 steps from half court.
Mm-hmm.
Dunked the basketball. No calls, nothing.
That's a normal no call in the NBA though. I'm noticing.
From half court, bro.
X.
You mean this dude got from half court to the
It just
rim?
happened to be how long his legs is. But we done seen some traveling that has just been missed in the NBA. We done seen that.
When he brought it up, man, I see he must have playing in a high school gym. Because you can do that on a high school gym. Not on a real live NBA court. But yeah, He pulled the video up, man. I was astonished.
It's crazy, right?
I was like, how do you not call that? how do you not do anything? Are you watching it like a fan too? Like, this is nuts, man. No way a man gets from half court without dribbling a basketball and dunks it.
So we got a vote from our boy JT. JT said the Bucks. I agree with JT, by the way. I think that structure that they got over there and that consistency, even with what Boston's doing over there, I think the Bucks coming out of the East.
Hey, you think Brown out of Boston?
Was that?
Given his recent comment
Who's that?
about the fan base.
Hold on, I missed it. Go to the beginning. I missed all of it.
You think Brown is going to be out of Boston?
Oh,
his comment about the fan base?
No, I missed it. What did he say?
He said there's a fraction or a section of the fan base that they're racist. Pretty much.
Man, that is widely known. Yeah.
Yeah, when he said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
So you think that they're gonna I think he's up for free agency or he's about to be a free agent.
Yep.
So he's gonna be looking for a nice little bag. The Celtics been trying to trade him for the last 3 seasons.
Right.
So he kind of gets to leave on his own terms now.
Yeah. Oh, Brad. Yeah, we did talk about Lamar. Brad Golf was asking, did we talk about Lamar yet? So we talked about him then. He also said all of Boston is racist. And he just dropped it and just left out.
not a fraction.
Nah, all of Boston.
All of it, all the way. Yeah, I mean, I guess Brown's trying to be diplomatic with his comments. I don't know.
Right.
But, I didn't want to say it. I've never been to Boston, so I don't speak on that. So, but I believe Brown when he said it.
I've heard enough athletes from these towns that played there. Like I've heard some Boston Red Sox players say it. Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some truth to it when enough people say it.
Worse than Utah?
I don't feel like Utah is openly.
Derek Fisher, Donovan Mitchell came out and talked about it. There's a lot of NBA players that talk about it when they go out there. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you're probably right.
Yeah, Utah is.
That's why Kobe got in so much trouble when he went out there.
Oh, man. I was going to leave that out. Let's go leave that one out. Oh, speaking of Kobe, man, got a lot of people coming after you, man, about this comment I heard. Kobe's not considered one of the GOATs. And listen, I defended you, just to be clear. You my partner, I defended you. But I did make it clear that his statements does not reflect my statements in that regard. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Man, the door to the studio is always open for anybody who wants to come on and have that debate. We can talk about it. You can tell me why he should be in that conversation, and I can tell you why he should.
I think the guy we need to get first. We need to get Allen Iverson on here first, and then we'll have somebody from the group come on. We need to get him on it because he's adamant about it.
Let's do it. All right, I'm here for the debate, right? And with anything, right? You are entitled to your opinions, your perspectives. I respect that. Just like I hope you can understand my opinions and my perspective and respect it.
So just to be, and I don't want to get in a debate about who is the greatest of all time. That's not the question I'm going to ask you. Who's on your list of the discussion for the GOAT? Curious of that.
So Bill Russell during his time was the GOAT, right? And then you progress to I'm trying to do this by eras because for me the GOAT debate is based on eras.
That's not eras. Okay, that's fair.
Right. I'm gonna go Magic somewhere in there.
Kareem in there somewhere?
Yeah, Kareem's in there. I think he's the gap between Bill Russell, then it's Kareem, and then right, you got Magic, right, in the early 80s. In the 80s, that was Magic's time, right? He got all them rings, right? He got more than Bird. He got more than Isaiah, right? So he's there, and then after him, pass the torch to MJ, right? And MJ from there passes it. I'm gonna say LeBron, right? I know. I'm going LeBron, man, and then after LeBron, what? Go from there. I guess we'll see.
It was a pause gap, and I knew where you was potentially going to go. I knew.
Yeah, man. Like LeBron's numbers don't lie, right? His longevity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I care less about him transferring teams, doing all that player empowerment stuff. Like none of that didn't bother me at all. Right? I get to watch him play. I don't care what he's playing, and I still get to watch his greatness. So he got to do what he did, what he thought was best for him, right? And not necessarily the clubs who don't really care about him. So hey.
So the good thing about it, the good thing about his ex, what you just shared was a criteria. And there's no criteria is right. Everybody has their own or whatever else. You came with a criteria. The barbershop arguments I be hearing these days, man. I see it with my own eyes. Like, bro, who are you? You scored 2 points at the Y. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's all like our level of basketball IQ is different, right? Which shapes our opinions differently.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like I said, all that matters. But like you said, right, you can tell when you're talking to somebody who's played basketball at a certain level compared to somebody who hasn't, right?
That lets me know how far I need to go in the conversation.
Right. Because we see the game differently than the average person, right? So therefore, our opinions are influenced differently.
Yeah, and I always make it clear. It doesn't it doesn't make my view right at all. It doesn't.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I have an opinion, like you got an opinion. I respect yours. You can respect mine. And we can have a civil conversation. Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm here for it.
What else we got in the sport? What's the score in that game, man? The South Carolina.
USC up 6.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about to.
They're in the third quarter right now.
About to go check it out.
About to come down to the wire, man. About to come down to the wire. I'm here for it. Let's go.
So you got the final. Who's winning the Final Four? Let me throw it out there before we close out.
Men or women?
Men.
UConn.
All right. Not hope. You saying that's who is going to win?
Yeah. That's who is going to win.
They're the only team I've seen so far to just get better every time. Oh man, my man Brad just said, "What about Greg Oden as a GOAT?"
Man, you seen his socks?
Hey, that's a dope commercial. That's a dope commercial though. Him, Christian Laettner, Adam.
Yeah, all them AT&T commercials.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Greg Oden, he's. I put him in the class with Sam Bowie. I put him in the class with Sam Bowie.
Right.
So you take that how you want to take it.
All right, man. Close us out, man.
Hey, man, appreciate you guys for joining the conversation, man, via the Facebook live chat. It's always good, man, to have some participation. Shout out to our sponsors, Facebook Home Partners. I appreciate you guys for the sponsorship. Also, Face Consulting and
Appliance Medic.
Appliance Medic, that's right.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys for sponsoring. If you get us on Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave us a review. You can also get us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. You can also catch us on YouTube if you want to see our handsome faces. You can get us on YouTube. So, with anything else, man, appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time. Till the next time.
Hey, well, wait, real quick, I want to say shout out to the fellas in the chat. Everybody in the thread. Appreciate you guys showing up live. Like I said, we're going to do this every week. I think we're past this point of testing it out, right? Like, this is what it's going to be going forward.
It's the new norm for us.
Yeah. So, as always, man, we appreciate all the feedback. So, if you guys want to hear different topics or you got any other suggestions, we're open for all the feedback. So, we definitely appreciate it, man. All love, for sure.
Hey, the doors to the studio is always open. You can come on here and talk to Kobe if you want to. You can have that conversation.
I hear a challenge when I hear that. So somebody got. I think Marcus probably want to step up. That's what I see. Hey, we got to get Brad on. We gotta get Brad on here to talk about his Bears. I think Brad feels.
James too.
Yeah, James. Yeah. But definitely,
James too.
I gotta hear Brad talk about it. He feels a little confident about his Bears next season. I think he feel like the
I
Bears
don't
can
know
make the
why.
playoffs.
Okay.
You say you don't know why?
I don't know why. Okay. We can talk about
All right.
it. We can talk.
Appreciate you guys for listening, man. Enjoy them games tonight, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.